you're going to have to overcome something massive. Some of you are already in the middle of this fight right now. You're going to have to overcome your ego. Your ego right now is getting in your way. And when I say ego, I don't mean, being self-centered or being egotistical. I'm using the term that I've learned from my life coach. Your ego, which is your false self, the driving bus behind things that sabotage your happiness. Your subconscious that has literally been built and built and built over your past. Your false self, basically your weenie self, that is coming into play in such a big way. Why? Well, you're doing something big. You have just rocked the boat, and right now you have an overbearing mother-in-law, if you will, that is saying, hell no. I'm your false self, which they think is true. I'm your false self. I make the rules. I've been around the longest. I know how to play this game, and I'm going to get you back. And here's how I'm going to do it. I am going to make it so hard for you to want to keep doing this challenge. I am going to face Pizza Hut on every commercial. I am going to fill that break room with the most unhealthy snacks I possibly can. You're going to spill shit. You're going to drop shit. Your kids are going to be in the worst moods ever. You're going to have sleepless nights. You might even come down with a cold. Crazy, right? Your false self, which believes that you are not connected to the universe. You're not connected to any source energy. Your false self, they're the driving force. They rule your world. Well, you gonna let it? Or are you gonna take that person that decided to join this challenge group, which is your true self? I get really emotional when I talk about my true self. We live half of our lives not even understanding that we have a true self, not even understanding that we are badasses. We are. If you live that small part of your true self, there are miracles. The true self believes in miracles, and the true self believes that you are connected to the universe, which you are. You are. Once you start believing that, and once you start realizing that it's not mumbo jumbo, and you stop and you forget about that false self, the sky is the limit. So take all of those horrible things that keep happening, those hiccups, those speed bumps, they're gonna keep coming, I'm telling you right now, until you squash it. Until you say, whatever, I'll take what you throw at me. It's my true self that knows I'm not a weenie. I am a badass. I started this and I said yes to this commitment, and that was my true self who said yes. And I'm gonna overcome any obstacles. And once you hit that day 21, day 22, mark 3, month 6, things like that, your false self, your ego, starts to quiet down, and it starts to think, God, this person's getting way too powerful. Her true self is starting to take over her life, and she's way too happy. She's way too excited about life. Starts to take a snooze, but it can creep right back in. Happens to me, and I've got to overcome it. So I'm telling you guys right now, your true self is such a badass. Live with your true self every single day. And know that you're one of few people that are doing that. People don't live their lives ever getting to experience that they have the power and they're in control, because they live with their false self. And that poor false self, that poor ego, will steer you in all the wrong directions. And it's not going to lead to happiness. Maybe short term, not long term. So who's going to win, guys? Who's going to win this battle? I told you it'd be a fight. I told you it'd be a fight inside yourself. Who's going to win? The ego or your true self, your badass self? You tell me. Tell me.